doors. I would have to double check with building department to see if that's allowed. But yeah, I think that either one of the options.
You're saying these are adaptable for,
Yeah.
you can put rails on the walls and things like that without a problem there.
Right.
Very good.
Right.
That's all I had.
Right. Thank you.
I might point out, when I moved into the house I'm living in now, I immediately had to reverse the door so that it would come out, because I had problems
Yes,
getting in and
yes.
out, and I'm only using a cane.
Yeah.
So it's
No,
a very valid point.
I can totally relate to that. I took care of my dad before he passed away, and
Yeah.
I totally understand the challenge of even for an older person to use it as if something happens. So yeah.
Any other comments?
Yeah. Okay. For handicap parking, how many van accessible parking spots are you going to have?
Currently, we have 2 parking dedicated for disabled persons, and they are currently on the site. If you have a site in front of you, so either one of them, the way it is, could be van accessible.
Okay. And in looking at the plans, I can tell if the main entrance has steps. So is there going to be wheelchair access to get in and out of the building?
Yeah, you mean from the front door?
Yeah, from the front door.
Yeah. The entire ground level is accessible for all for wheelchair.
Okay.
And I believe that the maximum ramp that we have there is 4.5% from the street, from Los Feliz Drive to the front door. So it's even less than 5%.
Okay. Also, are there any benches or seating areas on the pathways to get to the pool area or garden area to act as rest stops?
As it currently, we don't have a landscape plan design yet, but as it is currently conceived, we have a few spots right alongside along the path. For example, immediately fronting the entry door, there's a little landscape island, and that so we have a bench conceived in that location.
Also, for the bathrooms in the handicap rooms or even all of the bathrooms, it would be nice to have horizontal and vertical grab bars, so to act as towel racks.
You're right. Yeah, we do have provision for all of that. Grab bars in all the bathrooms. Every bathroom is going to have materials already in place, so that in the future people can just add grab bars as needed. So that's all provided for.
Well, the grab bars could be towel racks
As well, yeah.
Yeah, I have done that in my own home.
Right.
The other thing that I have been annoyed with, when you go to a hotel, a lot of them have put grab bars in the bathrooms, but they put them at the shower head end of the tub. Now, I don't know very many people who want to get into a tub when the shower is running. The best place for the grab bar is at the other end of a tub.
Yeah, whatever we do, we follow the requirements of the code, and code has pretty specific location as to where the grab bars should be or will be located.
Also, for people who has service dogs or small pets, it would be nice to have little doggy waste bags strategically placed.
Yeah.
Around the.
Okay. I think that can be, yes, that's a good point. Yeah, that could be accommodated. Yeah.
Any other? Yes, go ahead.
The only question that I had was if at least one of the two accessible parking spots could potentially be covered, just because sometimes it takes us so much longer to get into the car with modified vehicles that if it's raining or something, it might be nice to have that option. I see that there's several covered spaces, but none of them are the accessible ones.
Yeah, in fact, that was something that we did talk before I arrived here, and that is something that we can certainly accommodate. Maybe like a carport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was my comment too. I noticed there was no undercover handicap parking accommodated, and you've got an excellent spot for one. You've got one in the corner where it would be a very excellent spot to put the two handicap. You lose a parking place, but that's tough luck.
Yeah. Well, we actually may very well flip the cover from the other side over to the side where we have the handicap parking. So.
Any other comments? Thank you for your presentation.
Well, thank you very much.
Do you gentlemen wish to speak at all? Okay, thank you. We have a curb cut presentation now. Mike Tohidian.
Good afternoon. Well, we have a team presenter here today to cover curb ramp program citywide. My name is Mike Tohidian, senior civil engineer, and Michelle McCarty, engineering technician. I just want to go back to our practice historically, how we've been implementing curb ramp program citywide. The city has a reoccurring program every budget cycle. We allocate certain budget for the curb ramps improvements, and we also maintain an inventory of all the missing ramps citywide. And in the past, every time we had a pavement overlay or resurfacing, the city will determine how many ramps are missing within the project limit of that overlay program, and they would install new curb ramps, typically in advance of the overlay contract, and sometimes they release a contract, or sometimes it's done actually together with the overlay program. That was pretty much our practice up to a couple of years ago. We had, I think, a couple of years with missing the implementing curb ramps program. So in 2011, the city implemented a fairly large-size contract and released a contract for almost $1.1 million and installed 362 new curb ramps, all as a standalone contract, just to keep us up to date, with what we were supposed to do. That brings us to this year program, what we call 2014 pavement overlay and resurfacing program. But before I start discussing that, I'd like to present a technical assistance memorandum issued by Department of Justice and Federal Highway Administration. It was released last summer. And there was some confusion with a lot of public agencies and transportation agencies, including us, when and how you're supposed to bring non-compliant ramps when you, as they call it, if you touch a certain street with substantial work, are you expected to bring all these non-compliant ADA ramps into compliance or not? So the practice, like I said, ours and I think many other agencies were that we would only install new curb ramps if there were missing curb ramps. If we had existing ramps and they were not in compliance, they were not necessarily being reconstructed. So with the release of that technical assistance memorandum, it was clarified that essentially if you're substantially doing any type of work, and they define substantial work as, they call it alterations, and versus maintenance, which is typically a slurry seal. So the reason for this is for the first time in this city, we are trying to implement other resurfacing strategies or treatments besides overlay or slurry seal. Those are typically at the two extreme of the spectrum of what you could do with street rehab work. Because of, again, budget constraint, we are looking for other resurfacing strategy based on the need of the pavement condition. Not every pavement needs overlay, and sometimes a street it's not adequate to just do slurry seal. So we are looking for other strategies. Specifically, we're looking at cape seals and microsurfacing in addition to slurry seal and overlays. Just briefly, cape seal is a two-layer system. First, hot asphalt is laid, and they dump what they call chips. These are 3/8 size aggregate. They roll them and they let it cure for a few days, and they come back with a layer of a slurry seal. And microsurfacing essentially is a slurry seal that is being, has modifier, and it has also high quality aggregate. So we are targeting that strategy for certain pavement condition. So as a result of this technical memorandum released last summer, we realized that we do need to change our practice and include basically existing curb ramps that they were not in compliance for whatever reason, and Michelle McCarthy here is going to cover that briefly here. We determined that now we're obligated basically to include those existing curb ramps and bring them into compliance as part of our overlay and resurfacing program. And just out of the press, Caltrans just released this bulletin on Monday, basically indicating really this is giving themselves a little bit more time to implement this requirement. And if the project goes out to bid prior to July 1st, 2014, they basically met the determination. I'm sure they work with Federal Highway Administration and Department of Justice that they don't necessarily need to comply with this new requirement, but anything after July 1st, they're supposed to comply. But we are basically proceeding with what we were planning to do, and we're going to implement new or existing curb ramps that they don't meet the latest ADA requirements into the program. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to Michelle to cover the ADA requirement.
So we had the newly updated requirements were revised for the Title II entities, which included all government buildings, and it went into effect last year in June. And these affected all of our buildings, including public right-of-ways. So to comply with those, they have certain standards for each curb ramp and sidewalks. And this is just an example of some of the new standards. Each curb ramp must have truncated domes. and Grooved Borders to announce that there is a curb ramp approaching, and they have some new slope requirements. So to comply with this new technical memorandum, the staff did a preliminary smart level and visual inspection of the curb ramps within our program. And we divided them into 3 categories: modification, reconstruction, and newly constructed. So modification may include one or all of the things listed, including having a gutter lip, no truncated domes, or grooved borders. Reconstruction, they have slope deficiencies. They may have all of them, they just have a few. And then new construction, there is no curb ramp at that location. So we did find all of them in our research, and we have just a couple of examples of some non-compliant curb ramps. So within our program, we have overlay program. We have 108 curb ramps that were non-compliant, and 47 are going to be reconstructed. We have 3 new ones, and the rest will all be modified. And then in the resurfacing program, we had 381 that were non-compliant. 198 are going to be reconstructed, and 40 are new, and we have 143 that will be modified. This is a map, and Mike's going to talk about the rest of the program.
Okay, we did warn you this is a team presentation, but I just want to show you the map. Our footprint is huge for this year. We're touching essentially nearly 60 miles of street network with different type of surface treatments, either being overlay, which is shown in green, or Cape Seal showing in purple, or a slurry seal showing in yellow, and finally microsurfacing in another shape of purple. This is basically a summary of our estimate at this point. We'll see when we open beds where we are, but as you can see, roughly $3.4 million for overlay, $4.1 million in Cape Seal program, and $900,000 slurry and microsurfacing at $726,000. We also have about $714,000 worth of curb ramp programs. Again, as Michelle covered, either being reconstructed or installing a new one, and also modifying some of the existing ones. We are looking at about $10 million budget because we were able to combine a few budgets or program rather to come up with this huge one. And so just capture with, I think, optional schedule that we're going to have, we're going to be replacing 288 curb ramps at the cost of $912,000 citywide. Just want to mention our current budget for the curb ramp program is only $330,000. So the city is really stepping up to the plate, and essentially we are taking money from other program. In this case would be street resurfacing, and pay for the additional curb ramps that we need to bring into standards. In order to save costs, we're also looking at options. Our municipal service center staff is also taking up to the plate, stepping up to the plate rather, and they're going to try to modify these curb ramps with their own staff and workforce. And obviously there is going to be still material cost, but at least the labor, we won't be hitting with the labor. So that's one way to kind of manage the additional cost as part of the curb ramp programs and requirements. It's just a preliminary schedule. We've been working on street resurfacing since last year. And like I said, when the technical assistant was released, we were right in the midst of trying to start the project, and we're hoping to finish it by end of this month. And our bid process will start in April through May, and we do expect to have a construction award. By the way, we are splitting the whole program into two. We didn't quite cover it, but one contract would be overlays, and one contract would be what we call resurfacing, which includes those Strohey, Cape Seal, and microsurfacing. So those two contracts should be awarded on June 24th, and construction should start within 30 days or so. So with that, we're here for any questions that you may have.
Thank you very much. That was a lovely presentation. Any questions on anybody's part? Incidentally, I think you guys are doing a wonderful job, because I'm seeing curb cuts all over the place now. And I said, oh, there's another one.
I do have.
And I use them. And I think practically everybody on this board uses them.
That's
We
a fact.
appreciate it.
Yes. My question is about the ADA and federal requirements and compliance. Is there any penalties involved in the time frame that this is going on? Has there been penalties in the past, and is that ongoing?
I think the penalties would be in case of, when we receive grants from Federal Highway Administration. This city does receive a lot of grants through that agency, or even in state grants. If we don't comply or another agency doesn't comply, so that would be the penalty. I think it jeopardizes the securing those grants in the future, or some grants may be pulled away.
But as far as what's been happening up, at least up through now, you're not paying penalties on previous work?
No, this city has never paid any penalties as far as not complying with ADA requirements, as far as I know.
Oh, very good.
Thank you very much. Any more board comments on any subject?
Yes. At the Carl's Jr. on Southwest Lake Boulevard, there is not a sidewalk, so you have to go through traffic to get into there. So maybe you guys can take a look at that and see what you guys can do.
So we were just talking about federal grants. The city secured a highway safety improvement program grant last November to install sidewalks on both sides of West Lake where it's missing. So we are waiting for SCAG, Southern California. I should know this governmental something. But essentially, they need to get the project listed in the approved grants, and we're waiting. We're going to award the design contract as soon as they get it listed. We expect probably in April, and we begin design.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Any further comments? Then I guess we are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Board comment.
The architect left so fast, I was going to give him,
Oh, markup.
yeah.
I can give
Thousand Oaks Transit introduces the Metrolink Commuter Shuttle, now taking riders to the Moorpark Metrolink station with pickups at the Thousand Oaks Transportation Center, California Lutheran University, and Oaks Mall. Operating Monday through Friday. Regular fares are just $2.50 and $1.25 for seniors, disabled, or Medicare passengers, with free transfers to Thousand Oaks Transit buses. Best of all, Metrolink ticket holders ride for free. Take the train to work and school. With fares this low, every ride's a party. Oaks Transit introduces the Metrolink Commuter Shuttle. Now taking riders to the Moorpark Metrolink station with pickups at the Thousand Oaks Transportation Center, California Lutheran University, and Oaks Mall. Operating Monday through Friday. Regular fares are just $2.50 and $1.25 for seniors, disabled, or Medicare passengers, with free transfers to Thousand Oaks Transit buses. Best of all, Metrolink ticket holders ride for free. Take the train to work and school. With fares this low, every ride's a party.